All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tear down and rebuild what I call the lower core golf swing. Look, this is all about creating effortless power, and it all starts from the ground up. If you want that kind of consistency you see in the pros, this is where you start. Let's get into it.
It's the question I get from every single golfer. You're watching the pros on TV, and it looks like they're swinging at, 80%? But the ball just explodes off the club face. You go out and try to swing harder and nothing. Or worse, it goes sideways. So what's the secret? Where does all that speed really come from?
And here it is. This is the big aha moment that can totally change your game. Real elite-level power. It's not about trying to muscle the club with your arms and your hands. It's about how you use the ground. It's about using the earth as your source of leverage, your source of energy.
So to really get this, we're going to look at the blueprint for what I call the lower core golfer. Think of this as the perfect model for a swing that's completely powered by rotation and those ground reaction forces we just talked about.
So what exactly is a lower core golfer? Well, it's an athlete first and foremost. And their swing is built on three key pillars. 1, using the ground for leverage. 2, a massive and early hip turn. And 3, creating a ton of depth in the backswing. When you get those three things working together, that's when you get that powerful rotary motion.
Okay, let's build this swing literally from the ground up. Just like building a house, you can't have a powerful swing without a rock-solid foundation. It all starts right here, at the address position, P1, and carries right into the takeaway, or P2. If you nail this part, you're setting the stage for a great swing. Let's break down this setup. A lower core player doesn't bend from their waist. They hinge deep from the hips. I want you to feel that spine tilt, getting your chest to hover more over the ball. Your arms should just hang naturally, so your hands are lower and closer to your body. Now, the key. Focus on your feet. Feel the pressure in your arches and your heels, like you're almost screwing your feet into the ground. See, this isn't a lazy stance. It's an athletic, preloaded position ready to fire. Now, from that powerful setup, the takeaway is not an arm lift. So many amateurs get this wrong. The swing starts with a turn, a rotation of your pelvis and your lower spine. See how the club stays low and sweeps back, tracking inside the hands? You keep your wrists quiet and just rotate your torso. By doing this, you are immediately using the big muscles in your body to build torque from the ground up. You're not just picking the club up with your hands. All right, foundation is set. Now we move into the ascent. This is the heart of the backswing. And our goal here isn't just to get the club up in the air. No. It's to create as much depth as we can to coil and store a ton of rotational energy. So as your lead arm gets parallel to the ground, take a look at your hands. They haven't lifted straight up, have they? They've moved around your body. They're deep, way back near your trail hip, which naturally puts the club on a flatter plane. The feeling you want here is width and depth, not height. You should really feel the pressure loading into your trail glute and heel. You're winding up like a giant spring.
And here we are at the top. The hands are deep, tucked behind the trail shoulder, not way up high above it. And this is crucial. Look at the hips. They've rotated a massive 45 degrees, maybe even more. This huge hip turn is what creates all that space for your arms to stay deep and connected. Your weight is now fully loaded into that trail leg, just waiting to be unleashed.
And this quote right here, this sums it all up perfectly. Everything we've done so far, the deep hinge, the rotary takeaway, that huge hip turn, it all has one purpose, to get us into a position where we can start the downswing with power from the ground. Okay, now for the fun part, the release. This is where all that potential energy we stored up gets converted into pure, raw clubhead speed. This is the moment of truth, and for the lower core player, it all starts with the lower body.
The very first move down is not with your arms or your hands. Don't pull the handle. The downswing kicks off with your trail hip and leg driving towards the target. See how the pelvis starts to open up while the upper body stays coiled? That sequence right there is the magic move. It's what naturally drops the club onto that shallow inside path without you even having to think about it. That's the separator.
Now, right before we get to the ball, check out this position. The hips are already opening up to the target, but look, the chest is still closed. That separation, that stretch between your lower and upper body, that's the X factor you hear about. It creates massive torque. The club shaft is shallow, the trail elbow is tucked in, and you should feel all that pressure building into your lead heel. This right here is the definition of leverage. And all of that perfect sequencing, all that stored up energy, it all leads to this one single moment. impact. Look at how dynamic this is. The trail foot is literally driving off the ground, pushing that energy up the chain. It's just like a baseball pitcher pushing off the rubber. Your hips are fully open, but then bam, the lead leg braces, it posts up and acts like a brake. That sudden stop of the lower body is what slingshots the club through the ball with incredible speed. And that's where you get that beautiful forward shaft lean and that pure compressed strike. But listen, the swing doesn't just stop at the ball. The follow-through and the finish, they aren't just for show. They're the natural result of an efficient swing. They literally tell the story of how you released all that energy. So right after impact, the club doesn't just fly straight up, it exits low and to the left, continuing that beautiful rotary arc around your body. Now your chest can rotate aggressively through to the target, and you'll feel your spine extend upward as your body releases all that force. You've transferred the energy from the ground, through your body, into the ball, and now it's heading out towards the target. And what's the result? A perfectly balanced, complete finish. Your chest and your belt buckle are pointing at the target, your spine is nice and tall, and you're standing effortlessly on your lead leg. This isn't a pose you try to hold, it's the position you arrive at when you've done everything else right, using rotation and the ground to power your swing.
So, if you want to boil it all down, the DNA of the lower core swing is pretty simple, right? The backswing is all about a deep rotary coil to store up power. The downswing is a ground-up unwinding that gives you that shallow path and incredible compression. And the finish? It's just a full rotation that shows off your balance and efficiency. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire blueprint, from the first move to the final position. You've seen that real, repeatable power doesn't come from your arms. It comes from the ground. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to start building your swing on a more powerful foundation?